Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. On today's show, Kyle Bauer visits with David Clawson, the newly elected president of KLA. Then enjoy our weekly Kansas Soybean update. Next, Duane Toews catches up with Tracy Bruner, president of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, and then it's the Kansas Farm Bureau update. We'll end with Kyle and Duane in this week's Plain Talk. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum. Growers working together. Find out more at kansasgrainsorghum.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Up first on today's show, Kyle Bauer and David Clawson discuss some of the issues facing cattlemen in 2017.
I have the opportunity to visit with newly elected president of the Kansas Livestock Association, David Clawson. David, tell us about your farming and ranching background.
I grew up in Haskell County and went to school at Satana. We had a irrigated dryland farm operation and as well as a cow-calf operation. The cows would spend the summers in Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle with my grandparents on the grass down there that they had developed. And in 1995, we acquired some grass in the Englewood area. And my wife and I moved down there to take on that part of it. So currently, me and my brother are farming and running a cow-calf operation in the Englewood, the Plains, and on down into the Panhandles, taking care of what grandparents and great-grandparents had put together.
Certainly, when we look at livestock industry in the state, dairy continues to grow, and you're involved with that as well.
Yes, High Plains Dairy is, I'm a partner, and me and my brother were partners and extended family at that, right, in the High Plains Dairy. We started that in 2001 with other producers in the Plains area to try to be right at the start of the dairy industry as it was growing in Kansas.
You've been involved with KLA for a number of years as well.
Yes. KLA does a great job of getting youth involved in KLA. So right out of college, I had 1 year free membership, and I've been showing up ever since and offering my services if they needed it. And they've been putting me to work. I've been in the Cow-Calf Stalker Council at that time. It's now Stock Growers Council. I got to chair that as well as tax committee, and they've sent me to work doing a few NCBA things as well. So.
You've mentioned work, and certainly being the chairman of Kansas Livestock Association is work. As you see the next year stacking up, what will your work involve?
Probably the number one issue is the budget facing the state of Kansas. So I know the staff and the officers are going to be very focused on property taxes. So we have policy to try to keep property taxes up as low as we can, and we'd like to keep those in check and not raise those. So with the budget shortfall, we know that's going to be attacked. So we're there to ready to protect those property taxes. And then on top of that, they're also going to probably attack the use value appraisal of agricultural property. And we need to protect that at all costs too.
We're visiting with David Clawson. He is the newly elected president of Kansas Livestock Association. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Folks, come back after these messages for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Teresa Brandenburg is joining us. She serves as the chair of the Kansas Soybean Expo Committee. And coming up on Wednesday, January the 11th, will be the 2017 Kansas Soybean Expo.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it should be time again, but we are geared up for a great day for our soybean growers.
That will be at 9 o'clock at Heritage Hall and the Manor Conference Center at the Kansas Expo Center. And you've got a great lineup for the Kansas Soybean Expo.
We're going to start at 8:30 with registration, and at 9 o'clock we're going to have some welcomes from both the KSA president and the KSC chairman. And right after that, we're going to jump into some partner updates from some of those folks that really assist the soybean industry. And then we're doing things a little different this year. Instead of a morning keynote, we've actually decided to give some of our hometown guys, these K-State research and extension guys, some more time in the morning. So we've actually extended out those sessions. Instead of doing the round tables like we did last year where we changed rooms, we just extended out those times to give these guys more time to share their research. And so we're pretty excited about that.
Who are some of the people from K-State they'll be hearing from?
We're actually going to have Bill Shapaw, and he's going to be talking about searching for genes and new gene combinations. And then Dallas Peterson is obviously going to be talking about weeds. That's always a thing we need to know about.
And there's always a chance to recognize those who had outstanding 2016 years, specifically what came out of the ground, what came from their harvest, too.
That's right. Our yield contest has become a huge part of the expo. And actually this year we have moved that to our afternoon session, actually, to give us more time to recognize those folks. Kansas soybeans is a growing industry. We're so proud of what our farmers are doing. And so we wanted to make sure we had adequate time to recognize those outstanding yields. So we're actually going to be doing the luncheon like we have in years past. We're going to have Tracy Streeter from the Kansas Water Office joining us, as well as our Kansas Soybean Association annual meeting. And then after the luncheon, in our afternoon session, we'll have awards and recognition. And then we've got a really great treat after that. Daryl Holliday is going to be joining us for our afternoon session, giving a talk called Managing the Economic Shifts in U.S. and World Production Agriculture. So really informative day. And then we're going to wind that down with a reception with the Kansas Soybean Association and commission leaders.
Teresa, if people want more information or would like to register for the Kansas Soybean Expo, what's the best way they can do that?
You can go on our website, which is kansassoybeans.org, or you can call 877-KS-SOYBEAN for more information. Pre-registration is up. Go online, register, and we hope to see you there Wednesday, January 11th at the Kansas Expo Center.
That is Teresa Brandenburg, who serves as the chair of the Kansas Soybean Expo Committee. She joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Stay with us after the break for more Farm Factor as Duane visits with Tracy Bruner.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Let's join Duane and Tracy, who shares his thoughts on the big picture for ag in 2017.
Duane Toews joining you once again here on Ag AM in Kansas. A chance to catch up with Tracy Bruner, president of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, during the Kansas Livestock Association annual convention and trade show. And Tracy, certainly a time in the cattle business, there are bright spots. Certainly we aren't where we were a couple of years ago, but in the big picture of things, a vibrant industry.
Well, there certainly is, Duane. A lot to be encouraged about. Not to say that everyone hasn't been just amazed at the movements of our markets over the past several years, both on the upside and now correcting to the downside. But costs are very favorable in the beef industry, and we've got a really good story to talk about as far as beef demand. We're moving a lot of beef in a market right now that is a little bit economically challenged on a global view, and competitive meat supplies are at record levels. So a lot to be encouraged about, and we'll we, as you said, we've recovered a little bit from the lows that we saw several months ago, and we're looking for maybe even a little better prices as we go through the winter ahead.
We think about a recent election. Obviously, many of the national organizations are still in a kind of a holding pattern, not really sure what it means for the priorities that they face. Trade's always been very important to cattlemen, and that one maybe will get some scrutiny, but the realities are that expecting that incoming President Trump has good agriculture people on his committees that may change his view a bit.
Well, we're cautiously optimistic, and we're very encouraged. That underscored by all this is that the electorate seems to want a change, and now we have not only a new administration but a Republican majority in the House and the Senate, and we're hopeful that we can get a positive coalition built between the three and see some good legislation, both on the property rights and regulation protection side. The past administration has been very challenging for the business community, especially agriculture. Waters of the U.S. rule has been a very terrible encroachment on private property rights. We've opposed that and fought that very vigorously. We'll continue to do that. Also, some initiatives from the administration insofar as market interference, the GIPSA rule. We're still working on that. It sounds like coming out of D.C. that the most that we can hope for here before the end of the year is a continuing resolution to finance the budget on into the new year, when the Trump administration then will be able to present their own budget. So we're working to end the year on a strong note, or in a positive fashion, with protecting cattle producers' interests on those major areas as well as several others.
Tracy, you had mentioned market interference. One of the things that a lot of people have some angst about is the variability and the highly volatile market that we're in. If we can get some of those things to level out a bit, everybody knows where the playing field's at. I think guys will feel a whole lot better.
Well, certainly the industry feels itself in quite a quandary with the volatility in our markets, both on the upside as it went to record levels, and then retreated in a like record fashion. So yes, our members have spoken that they want to study the volatility in the market and see if there are ways that we can dampen that because of the price signals that those markets send to our producers and throughout our industry, throughout our value chain. We use those markets to price our product, and so we need stability because producers as well as everyone in the chain needs to have a strong idea of current value on that product. And so stability in our markets is very important to us. We don't know how to achieve that, but we're working very hard. We've got a very broad working group about 30 specialists, members that from around the industry that have come together, are studying the issue, and not just volatility of the markets, but also some things on the CME contract. Are there contract specifications that could be looked at and perhaps updated? Delivery points would be included in there, and then just a whole question of price discovery as we continue to move into an industry that's ever changing and trying to keep up with a very dynamic global marketplace and global consumer.
Our thanks to Tracy Bruner, President of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, joining us here on Ag AM in Kansas. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Folks, stay tuned for this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Farm Bureau update.
The McCoy Fellowship in Agriculture, an exchange program for promising American and German leaders in agriculture, offers international learning opportunities. The program takes 4 U.S. farm leaders to Germany and brings 4 German farm leaders to the United States. Elizabeth Coates, a farmer and dairy veterinarian from Twin Falls, Idaho, who has participated in the fellowship, explains the program.
For the Americans, it involves a 10-day trip to Germany where we get to meet with fellow McCoy alumni, policymakers, agriculture experts, spend several days in Berlin learning about the government and the way agriculture is involved in the government, and then doing tours of farms and various sized cities to learn about how agriculture works in Germany.
She says the program allowed her to learn how agriculture works in Germany and compare it with the United States on topics such as animal welfare and how the public views the treatment of farm animals.
We learned a lot about rules and regulations that are mainly dictated by consumers and grocery chains in Germany. And one thing that did for me is it kind of re-energized my passion to advocate for animal agriculture here in the United States. A lot of the laws that are being passed there don't have any scientific backing behind them, and I'm hopeful that we can prevent that from happening in the United States.
She says programs like the McCoy Fellowship help U.S. farmers better understand agriculture issues globally.
Programs like the McCoy Fellowship are able to broaden our sights and give us a greater ability to analyze how the issues affects farmers in the United States and abroad. I have several different speaking engagements lined up so that I can share with other agriculturists in Idaho about what I learned and hopefully be able to enlighten them and give them some insights to the global agriculture economy.
Michael Clements, Washington.
Come back after the break for this week's Plain Talk with Kyle and Duane.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
There's a lot of different ways of doing this woodwork, but all of it still takes both hands.
He had been told that by the orthopedic specialist in Enid, Oklahoma, that they would have to fuse his thumb.
And I said, no, cut it off, because I didn't want it sticking up. And I found out about the Kansas regenerative stem cell and went to Manhattan.
We were so impressed with how royally we were treated the first time we came to Kansas Regenerative.
We came in and he took out the stem cells. It took about an hour for him to process them before they put him back in my knees and my thumb. And we were out of here in about 4 hours and on our way back home. And I'm in here today to have my shoulders, my hips, and my back done. So I'll be able to go back to my sawmill, my shop, and do about anything I want to do.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle and Duane are up to on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk with Duane Toews.
Kyle Bauer, the Fact or Fiction question of the day.
All right.
It's no longer yours.
I
We're
know.
sharing
I'm
this
not very happy about it, but just go on. Go on.
With everybody. Believe it or not, the Earth's deserts are not composed entirely of sand. Fact or fiction?
Fact. There'd be lots of rock.
Well.
And there's some deserts are clay. Desert has to do with the amount of rainfall, not the kind of soil.
No.
No?
That would be...
No. Because Antarctica is a desert.
Oh. Well,
and there's not even soil there.
Yeah. 85% of it is sand. The other 15% rock and gravel. You said a lot. That's not a lot.
All right.
The two together added up to 15%.
All right.
That's not a lot.
All right. I'm not sure I'm agreeing with that because I thought a desert was anything that got less than X amount of rainfall.
You and I have talked about it before. The Sahara continues to grow.
Yeah.
Covering a third of Africa. That's a lot.
Yeah. Well,
that's a lot of land area.
Yeah. And there's some countries right out in the middle there that...
That's all they are.
That's all they are. Ooh. That's a tough go.
How do you... I want to live on this side of the county. No, I want to live on that side of the county. No, you don't want to live in the county at all.
Yeah.
Or country.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Lake Powell is a reservoir similar in size to Lake Mead.
Okay.
You know where Lake Powell is?
No.
It's just up the Grand Canyon from Lake Mead.
Really?
Yes. And when we were out there last summer, there was supposed to be another one built right in the middle between them.
Oh, really?
Now, right now, they can't keep either one of them full.
Oh. So there was no point?
No, they got stopped by the environmentalists.
Why?
Oh, because
they were going to drown some fish?
Well, they were going to drown the Grand Canyon, for one thing. I couldn't have gone boating down the Grand Canyon 280 miles if they put a dam right in the middle.
Yeah,
or it would have been pretty rough on that one.
That drop-off's kind of bad.
Yeah, but they thought they had enough water prior to the mid-1980s that they needed another reservoir. Both reservoirs were full. And now look at it today.
They're not.
They're not.
Not even close.
Exactly. So isn't that bizarre? You know, as people, we think our time here on Earth is significant. It's like, wow, over the last 20 years, it's been hot, it's been cold, it's been wet, it's been dry. Mother Nature's like...
been around a lot longer. You're not even a blip.
Get you a 1,000-year data line and see how you go on that.
Yeah. So I see where they have wrapped up. You had gone to John Redmond and watched some of the dredging that was going on. They've completed phase 1 of that, I understand.
And I think they completed that like 3 months ahead of schedule.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. No, when I was down there, they were really pumping along. So, and the thing that's the problem is, I don't know if it's a problem, the situation that I think 40% of the cost of that was mobilization, hauling everything in and hauling it out.
Right.
Well, it's all there. It's all set up now.
Sure.
So it's like, so we could maybe do that much more for $10 million instead of 20.
Oh.
Now, that's a pretty good bargain, except who's got an extra $10 million laying around?
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor. We're here every Tuesday on Ag AM in Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.